President Trump. A fiercely divided Congress, a divided country. The House voting on articles of impeachment, abuse of power, and obstruction of Congress. Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying the president, quote, gave us no choice. Republicans defending the president today, saying there's no evidence of a crime, and accusing the Democrats of wanting to do this since the day he was elected. Will he be only the third president to be impeached? Mary Bruce, live on the Hill tonight. Meantime, President Trump furious, leaving for a campaign rally in Michigan tonight in battle mode. His tweet storm calling impeachment an assault on America. John Carl live at the White House, the president's playbook for a Senate trial and for his campaign for re-election. And Terry Moran tonight with the bottom line. In a polarized country, what happens next in a Senate trial? And where are American voters tonight? The other major news this Wednesday night, the deadly attack at a shopping center, several injured, the suspect escaping, the hunt that followed. A dangerous night in the Northeast for millions of commuters, vehicles piling up on the highway and bracing for wind chills below zero. The alarming warning tonight after a woman is killed in New York's Times Square from falling debris from a 17-story building. Tonight there is word 1,300 other buildings are at risk. The security breach, a plane stolen, the crash, and the arrest. At the U.S. Coast Guard tonight, the major discovery surrounding this boat and the bust.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on this Wednesday night. A deeply divided moment playing out in American history tonight. The full House set to vote on whether to impeach President Trump. He would be only the third president to be impeached. All day long, short bursts of anger, closing arguments from both sides. Democrats arguing the evidence is clear, arguing the president used the power of his office for personal and political gain in the coming election. Republicans asking where is the evidence of a crime and that Democrats have wanted this since day one. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who repeatedly resisted impeachment during the Mueller investigation when pushed by some members of her own party, changing her mind after that call with the president of Ukraine. Today, standing before the Congress saying the president gave us no choice, saying we are here to defend democracy. President Trump furious, and he's about to take the stage tonight. We have it all covered, beginning with Mary Bruce on the Hill tonight.
Tonight on the House floor, Republicans and Democrats making their last stand, the final debate before they vote to impeach an American president for just the third time in history. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, dressed all in black, setting the tone.
It is tragic that the president's reckless actions make impeachment necessary. He gave us no choice.
Casting impeachment as a patriotic imperative, Pelosi called the day a national civics lesson.
Today, we are here to defend democracy for the people.
Democrats charge the president abused his power to manipulate the 2020 election, withholding nearly $400 million in military aid and the promise of a White House visit to pressure Ukraine to investigate one of his chief political rivals, former Vice President Joe Biden.
I ask my colleagues, who sent his personal lawyer to Ukraine to investigate his political rival? Who fired an ambassador who stood in his way? Who conditioned a White House meeting on investigations that only personally benefited him and not the national interest? Who cut off military aid to an ally that desperately needed it? The answer to all of these questions is President Donald Trump.
He didn't even need the investigation to be undertaken. Just simply announced to the public the smear of his opponent, would be enough.
Democrats argue Trump is a clear and present danger to the next election.
He solicited foreign interference before, he is doing it now, and he will do it again. The president is the smoking gun.
But Republicans say Democrats are on a partisan crusade, eager to oust the president.
Why do we keep calling this a solemn occasion when you've been wanting to do this ever since the gentleman was elected?
Presenting a united front, one after another, they insisted Democrats are motivated by hatred for the president and his supporters.
They call us deplorables. They fear our faith. They fear our strength. They fear our unity. They fear our vote. And they fear our president.
The president's defenders using Trump's own words.
It's a sham, a witch hunt, and it's tantamount to a coup against the duly elected president of the United States.
They insist the president has not committed an impeachable offense.
Unlike the Nixon and Clinton cases, There are no allegations that the president has committed a crime.
I'm hearing a lot from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, except a defense of President Trump's conduct, which is indefensible.
And this evening, in a passionate speech, Congressman John Lewis bringing the weight of history to bear.
We didn't ask for this. This is a sad day. It is not a day of joy. When you see something that is not right, not just, not fair, you have a moral obligation to say something, to do something. We have a mission and a mandate to be on the right side of history.
Passion on both sides tonight. Let's get right to Mary Bruce. She's live up on the Hill. And Mary, as I said at the top of the broadcast, a divided Congress, a divided country, and not a single Republican is expected to vote to impeach President Trump tonight, showing just how partisan this vote is expected to be.
David, Republicans here on the Hill are in lockstep with the president, and Democrats are largely united as well, though we do expect at least 2 Democrats to defect and oppose impeachment, which Republicans here are likely to seize upon. David.
All right, Mary Bruce, as soon as there's news, we'll come back to you tonight. Thank you. And President Trump tonight, meanwhile, leaving the White House late today, he walked past the cameras with no comment, but his tweets revealed his fury today. The White House had said the president would be working all day, that he would be briefed by staff. But there was a tweet storm not long after Speaker Pelosi took the floor. In fact, one tweet calling the proceedings, quote, an assault on America. ABC's chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl and the president's reaction tonight.
The president ignored questions as he left the White House tonight. No comments on the impending impeachment vote before heading to his campaign rally in Battle Creek, Michigan. The day started with the White House press secretary Stephanie Grisham saying, quote, the president will be working all day. He will be briefed by staff throughout that day and could catch some of the proceedings between meetings. But he seemed to take in a lot of the debate, tweeting and retweeting some 45 times before noon, almost all about the impeachment debate. The tweet started at dawn. Can you believe that I will be impeached today? The president tweeted at 7:30 in the morning. I did nothing wrong. 5 hours later, just after Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi spoke on the House floor, the president vented in all caps. Such atrocious lies by the radical left, do-nothing Democrats. This is an assault on America and an assault on the Republican Party.
So let's get right to John Karl with us live at the White House tonight. And John, the president has repeatedly called impeachment an ugly word, a disgusting word. He did not want this to happen, but it would appear, John, that he's also ready for battle.
Impeachment clearly bothers him, David, but he is in battle mode. He'll be out, of course, at his campaign rally in Michigan tonight. Looking forward to that battle in the Senate trial, confident he will win. And when and if he does, David, certain to claim complete and total exoneration and vindication.
All right, John Karl with us live tonight as well. John, thank you. And as you heard John report there, the president headed to Battle Creek, Michigan for a rally tonight, clearly pivoting already. So let's get right to Martha Raddatz with us this evening. She's live at the rally. And Martha, impeachment has already become part of the president's campaign message.
It certainly has, David, and I think that's what you'll hear the president talking about here tonight, venting about those tweets. I think you'll hear him vocalizing those tweets to this crowd. He'll also want to stress the economy and how strong the economy is. And all of the supporters I've talked to here tonight are echoing the president's message already, echoing those tweets, saying this is a scam, saying this is a witch hunt, and all they care about, they say, is the economy. They say they haven't even watched these impeachment proceedings. David?
Martha Raddatz live in Michigan tonight. Martha, thank you. And one more note as all this plays out tonight, the scope of this and what to expect next. President Trump is only the 4th American president to face impeachment. The first, Andrew Johnson, in 1868. He was impeached, then acquitted in the Senate by 1 vote. In 1974, Richard Nixon faced a long inquiry but resigned before the impeachment vote. And Bill Clinton, 21 years ago tomorrow, in fact, he was impeached. He was acquitted in the Senate. And tonight, the vote at any time on whether to impeach President Trump. So let's bring in Terry Moran, who's live at the Capitol tonight. And Terry, you covered the Clinton impeachment back in '98. Then senators from both parties were in agreement, really, on what the trial would look like. But tonight, you've got the Democratic leader, Chuck Schumer. He's called for witnesses, like former National Security Advisor John Bolton, acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney. Then you've got Majority Leader Mitch McConnell saying no witnesses and already saying he won't be an impartial juror. But this is what he said today. Listen to this.
I've hoped and still hope that the Democratic leader and I can sit down and reproduce that unanimous bipartisan agreement this time.
So, Terry, how likely is this, some sort of bipartisan agreement going into a Senate trial that would likely play out right after the new year when Americans come back from the holiday?
You know, David, they'll probably work something out, but there's a big difference between that unanimous agreement during the Clinton impeachment and today. The Senate, their leaders in the Clinton impeachment, they kept the Clinton White House at arm's length. They consulted with them, but this was really a deal worked out by the independent Senate. Mitch McConnell has already said he is operating in total coordination with the White House. He has said he wants a short trial. Chuck Schumer, as you say, wants witnesses. The president keeping his options open.
And as
David?
I mentioned, Terry, you've witnessed this before. So bottom line, in a Senate trial, it's all about the math we know. 100 members of the Senate, 2/3, 67 of them are needed to convict. And Terry, that's extremely unlikely here.
Oh, my goodness. That is a super majority. And barring bombshell new evidence that is not on the horizon at all, President Trump will be acquitted. The founders put that super majority in the Constitution because they wanted the public to do this through their representatives. And right now, the public is locked in, divided, without really moving an inch during the course of these hearings and this debate today. David?
Terry Moran, our thanks to you and to Martha, John, Mary as well. And we'll come back to the impeachment just as soon as we have news on it tonight. In the meantime, we move on to the other news this Wednesday evening, the deadly attack at a shopping center outside Portland, Oregon. The attacker with a knife killing one person, wounding several others before stealing a car and speeding away. Here's ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas tonight.
Police in Beaverton, Oregon today racing to respond to reports of a robbery in progress.
Armed robbery incident. There's possibly hostages.
Officers swarming a Wells Fargo bank and a Planet Fitness gym at this shopping center. And then disturbing word of an attack involving a large knife.
Due to the information on the robbery, it looks like a machete was used.
Authorities say 3 people were stabbed, one victim later dying from the injuries.
You know, I walked outside, saw the police activity, and then all of a sudden I see a gurney with a lady on it.
She had so much bandaging on, and it was bloody. So we're assuming neck, stabbed in the neck.
Police locking in on the suspect's location after he tries to flee the scene, allegedly stealing a car.
He's on foot right now behind the Chevron.
The suspect later apprehended. They're still talking to witnesses trying to determine whether this was a robbery or something different altogether, David.
Pierre Thomas with us live tonight as well. Pierre, thank you. And next tonight, the dangerous and blinding snow squalls moving across the Northeast and the bitter Arctic blast on the way right behind us. That sudden and fast-moving snowstorm moving in over Manhattan late this afternoon. You can see it there obscuring the skyline. Heavy snow coming down outside Rochester, New York, and a squall causing a multi-vehicle accident on I-80. This is central Pennsylvania. So let's get right to senior meteorologist Rob Marciano tracking it all for us tonight. Hey, Rob.
Hi, David. The air is so cold behind this front. It's popping off these intense snow squalls. We're getting one right now. It's a smattering of white on the radar. Check it out from West Virginia up and through New England. Still some warnings up. And around the lakes, that's where it's going to be most intense and most long duration. In the morning, you'll have more plowable snow. The bottom is dropping out with these temperatures. The coldest air of the season will feel like minus 12 in Burlington, 0 here in New York. And what has fallen today is going to hard freeze. So it will be a slick commute again in the morning. It'll be with us for a couple of days. Meanwhile, long duration atmospheric river events setting up for the west with heavier rain and mountain snow. But I'm most concerned for heavy rain and river flooding for western Washington and Oregon through the weekend. David?
Rob Marciano with us tonight. Rob, thank you. And next this evening, the danger from above after a prominent architect and mother was killed here in New York City near Times Square by falling debris from a 17-story building. Tonight, did the building owner ignore warnings? And now the new concern about hundreds of other buildings right here in New York. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
Tonight, new questions over safety after debris fell from this New York City building, killing a prominent architect and mother.
I am without words. I really don't know how something like that could happen.
The city now identifying more than 1,300 buildings that need immediate repairs after 60-year-old Erica Tishman was hit by debris and killed Tuesday. The building at 49th and 7th was cited back in April for failure to maintain building walls and that several locations pose a falling hazard.
Sometimes you look up and you wonder how safe these buildings are. Well, it turns out in some instances, not very.
The building owners paid a $1,200 fine but didn't make the repairs. In July, they applied for permits, but it wasn't until after Tishman was killed that crews installed